Hey guys, welcome back to Green Chat. My name is Cleeze, and today we're going to see if 20,000 people is enough. I'm getting a little granular, and I've also been AWOL. Now I'm back, and a little less granular. Granular. Welcome to Green Chat. Hey guys, welcome back to Green Chat, where we chat about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. As you can see in the background behind me, and it's just shifted to a beautiful elf woman, or I think it's an elf woman. I would say it looks like a woman elf, and then it's an elf man. So yeah, as with the title stated, sorry, that intro was rough. Been a while, dudes. Been a while. But I'm gonna try to get more less granulated. Let's find details. I'm just a regular guy like you guys. I don't have time to like research all this crazy stuff, get super in depth, but I do have time to chalk it up to chat about Pantheon Rise of Fallen. So we're gonna do that today. I picked out this lovely topic of is 20,000 people enough? We're gonna bump on over to the forum post here. So this lovely gentleman here, TaKa posted. How do you guys feel about already having 20,000 people on Pantheon form while in pre-alpha, on the Pantheon forums while in pre-alpha? So you have to, we'll get into this later, but you have to actually donate. You can look at the forums without donating, but to actually post, you need to donate. And I guess this guy, I don't know how he counted 20,000, but I'm just going to take his word for it. You know what? I don't have time to get in those details. I think he thinks it's tremendous. We're probably about 12 to 18 months from release, 20K people's on the forums. We can assume there'll be much more people interested that did not want to donate at this point, but what join later. So he's assuming, like I think most of us are, that the forums will open up later on once we get to a certain point in the development phase, which makes sense. You don't want a bunch of banana cakes in here, all the time. You don't want that. So Zootastic is like more fanboy optimism. 18th month beta, maybe. Kind of agree. But hey, there's nothing wrong with being optimistic. But does it get old? Because I think we've said 12 to 18 months for so many different things, so many different times, and I think both sides have a good stance there. Anyways, this person's like, it's healthy to be optimistic, and that's Yalandrin. I'm going to stop saying all these names because I can't do it anyways. But then you get down to good old boy Basgrim down here, and he's like, I don't know about the 12 to 18th months, and goes into a lot more detail on, the barren landscape of the MMO genre and all this other stuff, and creates this interesting spin here. I don't think it was Basgrim's fault, but on that note, Basgrim does have a really cool video. Not to promote Basgrim, but, let's do it anyway, right? He's got a really sweet video on, like, the development cycle of Pantheon Rise of Fallen. I guess it's not as what a lot of people expected or what they think, like, when this game actually started development, and stuff like that. And also some good background on some of the team members, which I just thought was kind of interesting. Basgrim TV, if you just Google it, YouTube, you'll find him. But going through here, I thought this was a good post to highlight. I could read a lot more stuff in here, but you guys really see where this is going. Is 20,000 people enough? Is really what kind of boils down here in this medockery. Basically, people are starting to question whether, can you post without donating? And the answer is no. You can't create an account. Excuse me, you can create an account. I'm going in the weeds. Gonna back that up. Back it up. All right, we're gonna back that up. So really, what we should be asking ourselves is 20,000 people. All right, is that enough people in general? Let's say only 15,000 of those people were actually donators, but is the interest, all right, doesn't matter if we gave any money or not. Let's just set that aside. Is the interest of 20,000 people enough for VR? Right? Is it enough for Pantheon Rise of Fallen at this point in development? And that's what we're going to focus on today. All right, so 20,000, 20,000 players, what is this, or excuse me, people, what does this actually mean? So in my opinion, this is just me kind of guessing. Let's use some educated guessing here. If you wander over to Pantheon Rise of Fallen, you're like, oh, let's say I'm a brand new guy. I'm like, oh, here's the forums. Wow. And I'm bouncing through the forums, reading stuff like, oh, okay, cool, guys, boom, boom, nice. And then, you're going to be wandering around for a while. And then you're going to get to the point where you're like, voice attack in Pantheon? I must comment on this. I must. And you'll be like, okay, let's log in. Let's log in because I'm sure you got to sign in to post, right? Let's sign up. I don't have an account. And you'll look at this page right here and be like, yeah, okay. Let's see. Read, okay, player read access only, free. All right. So would you sign up to read what you've been reading? Probably not. You wouldn't be driven to that point. Not likely. But you may be like, maybe if I sign up, I'll get free mail in my email, spam perhaps. But likely you're going to pick one of these other things because you're going to want to post. And I don't think you'd be driven to this point of the site otherwise. It's just a guess. So I don't think a lot of those 20,000 people that have form accounts are actually, the player read only access free. There could be a bunch of them, there may not be. At the end of the day, I really don't think it matters from our perspective and, trying to analyze this 20,000 person thing. I don't think it matters all that much. So I guess that's my way of quantifying what 20,000 means. Let's just say 15,000 people are actually, paying some type of model here to gain access to the forums. Let's just use that assumption. We could say it's lower or higher. I guess the argument I'm going to make is it doesn't really matter in general. If they've created accounts, they've come here anyways, and I think the account number is probably the more important relevant factor versus how much money they've gotten from those accounts. That's just, I'm not a real businessman. I'm not a businessman, but that's just a guess. So from our perspective, is this a good thing or bad thing? 20,000 people in this part of development to have at least an account created for form access. I think 100% an awesome thing, personally. Reason being is this is behind a paywall. For the most part, for the draw to it. I don't think you're going to create an account just to have one. You might. Again, the 15,000 people likely actually paid. Probably. Maybe I'm way overshooting that. I don't know. But I think 20,000 is an awesome number. And a lot of people are saying, hey, that's just a drop in a bucket. Some of these forum posts here are like, 20,000, give me a break, dude. Everybody else is dealing with like, millions of people are like, we're going to shoot for 2 million copies sold. I don't mean to be like, but you know what I mean? I think personally, Pantheon is going in the opposite direction of that philosophy. A lot of game companies shoot for this number, this big thing, and they're like, it's really scary. Like, I'm going to sell 2 million copies. They go out and get the investors, proof of concept, development, all that awesome stuff. And then, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And then you kind of have that implosion effect where I think Pantheon's going the other way. They're starting really small. They're almost like an indie company. If you go to their, let's just wander on over to About Us and then wander over to the, About Us, the team. Here, this is it. Boom. And there's a lot of copy and paste names in here because they're, let's go over to, Chris Perkins, audio director, design, creative director, Chris Perkins. I mean, art and animation, Chris Perkins. Oh, okay. All right. Wow. Nifty. So do they have a lot of overhead stuff like that? Is 20,000 a lot of people for Pantheon? Yeah, it is, actually. It is. It's a good starting point, especially at this phase in development. I think that's what some people don't really understand is you don't want to start, if you start big, then you have to have big expectations. And then the bumps in the road are going to be that much more difficult to hurdle. And potentially you could trip up and get, train wrecked in a sense. All right, so like I was saying, I'm just a regular guy like you guys, and I'm going to go into, I guess, instead of finding like facts in this site that try to prove my point, not really my point, but why I let you know that I'm not worried, why am I making this video, is really to talk about Panther Rise of Fallen. But let me just go into why I think this game will succeed. No matter if there's 20,000, if there was 5 people interested in this game, this is why I think it will succeed. And recently I've been brought on to the guy, Chris Perkins, which I was just mentioning previously. I definitely recommend you take a look into Brad McQuaid and Chris Perkins. Not to single them out. I mean, I know they're very beautiful blossoming flowers on this team. And the team in general, I really like going through their background. Again, Basgram TV covered down on these these individuals very well in one of his videos, just kind of going through like their career backgrounds, which a lot of people might be like, okay, that's cool, man. But I thought it was interesting. But specifically, Brad McQuaid, when you go to his the interviews he's been in, especially on YouTube, he did one with Boogie, the Boogie guy, the Boogie dude, whatever. But looking at his reactions, looking at his face or like his responses, reactions when he talks about these types of games, you can tell that he absolutely loves them. Okay, you can tell that when he thinks of a concept in his head, and I've kind of, I'm just gonna kind of but mix Chris Perkins, Japa into this as well, is when they speak to these concepts in the games and stuff like that, or what we think or what they think would be fun. Not we think, but we think everything would be fun, right? I get this feeling that they would take their time and really put their heart and soul into a game, and that they would be personally invested in that game, and that they would not, this sounds crazy, it sounds crazy, but that they would not be compromised by greed to ruin something that they found was more to them than money. Almost like a work of art. Chris Perkins is, he came in as a, the audio director for Pantheon, and he's an artist, and people that they just don't put value in what they, create. I mean, they do put value in it, but it's not like you can buy those type of people. You can't. I mean, I guess you can buy anybody. You really can. Even I have a price, right? But let's just not go down that road, because whatever. But they believe in what they're doing, and I think personally, I would trust them to make a game that's really fun. Because instead of, I guess if I wanted to dumb it down, they're not going to look at some spreadsheet about what more players are doing and then how they can leverage systems here or there to keep us more engaged as an audience, versus creating a system, trying it out. Is it fun? Yes, no, well, maybe not. Is it fun? Does it create a community? Does it drive behavioral, influences and stuff like that? The integration of what gives a game like flavor and character. They can create that. They know how to create that. And that's that. Versus just trying to make something that's exciting or theme parky, whatever that word is. But something that just is kind of, its intention is to keep you engaged and spending money, versus the intention is to give you an experience. Maybe. I don't know. I could go on probably forever just on that concept alone, but that's why I think Panther Rise of Fallen is going to succeed. And 20,000 players in this point of development, at least interest in general, to where you're actually on their forums and engaged in communication about it. I mean, we're talking about stuff. Let's face the facts here. Pantheon, there's nothing to talk about. Everything they bring, anytime they bring anything up, I mean, there's plenty, we're talking right now about it, but there is so many things that will probably change, and they constantly talk about that. We're talking about the death penalty a lot, or you're talking about, like, what are we talking about? Let's look at it. Voice attacks in Pantheon. That's what, queue times in a day, about stats, raid size. We're talking about interesting stuff already. 20,000 players. Wonder who's going to talk about that one. But, that's just, I guess, that type of engagement already at this point in development is fantastic. Hands down. It's fantastic, in my personal opinion. However, you can have people out there that are really worried. Like, 20,000 is a really small number. And I would just urge you to not be concerned. But if you want to be concerned, because to worry about something means you care about it, right? All right, I don't know why I'm being so weird today. Maybe because I haven't made a video in a really long time. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna move on. Here we go. All right, so let's wrap up. Okay, I just went on a really crazy tangent. We're gonna wrap up. I got my little notebook here for reference. I have a notebook now. I upgraded to a notebook. I went from a smartphone, right, to a notebook. So just to wrap up, Again, the starting point for this game, the growth point for this game is intentionally being small and then growing from there. Okay, we don't want to grand scheme it and then get chopped in half, right? That's not going to work for them, especially with the size of the team they're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Another interesting thing that I thought was kind of interesting, I'm going to use interesting a lot in this sentence, is the cost of the upkeep of this game. I think people have this impression that running an MMO is actually super expensive. It is. It is very expensive if you keep everything in-house, like with what most MMOs do. The overhead, stuff like that, you've got to create a ton of positions just for like IT infrastructure, security, physical servers, blah, blah, blah. But Pantheon's already stated that they're intending to outsource a lot of their network infrastructure needs to Unity, which I looked that up online today. Actually, watch this. Boom. All right, this is dumb. I'm like riding a car. But, let's just swing over here. You got a fast action-paced game, roughly 500,000 users. Boom. Estimated monthly cost is $4,797 per 500,000. That's actually relatively very inexpensive. Now, there's some, if you do go over here, there was some kind of interesting things. This one I found was kind of interesting was the peer-to-peer technology will be used in this instance, part of this graph, so it'd probably be a little bit more expensive than this because it does say that's the default option, but you can also, core networking libraries are flexible and can be used to support client servers, so meaning that Pantheon will have servers and stuff like that versus peer-to-peer networking, which is super, that wouldn't work for, they're going to have to do the client servers, but those client servers can also be hosted by Unity. However, the amount of money it's going to cost is going to be extremely low, comparatively speaking. Now they're going to have to give a cut of their proceeds, or actually maybe they won't. I was looking through here, maybe they won't, but there will be a, service fee for performing this from Unity. But because they're building in Unity and then going to hosting with Unity, the patches, releases, all sorts of stuff, it's probably going to go really smooth because you can ramp up your personnel and ramp down your personnel when you need. And your resources as well. When you're cloud computing like this, your resources. So, for example, patch day, they can expand. Let's say they're running, one shard on 2 servers, for example. They could expand that to 50 virtual servers, and then the IT personnel the infrastructure is already there to facilitate that. So, just because not everybody plays at the same time, but patch days probably do. Not patch days, but like big releases. So yeah, that's just a little random tangent there about, the 20,000, the starting small, and what their capabilities are going to be doing is it all sounds like, magical Fantasyland stuff, because it is a fantasy game. And then finally, what is the, the leading factor in the positivity and the progress of Pantheon Rise of Fallen? So if you listen to any type of Pantheon news and stuff like that, usually they're very positive and like, woohoo. And the type of heat that they feel like, or what I feel like they're probably under is probably really terrible. Not really heat, but they probably read the same stuff every day. Like, oh yeah, I heard that, bro. Or, yeah, it's coming out in 2025, or just constant like, ugh. So it sounds like they're actually very driven by the actual project and not so much by our little Weasley mouse, like Weasley, is that a word? But, our mouse, like, yeah, I hit the mic, and the ability to stay positive like that is super, to have traction like that and keep moving forward is freaking awesome. And I dig it. And why I really think they're not just stealing all of our money and having some big hoax is experience. And I've read some of Brad's blog posts, which were actually really enlightening. He was like, oh, if this all fails, I'm going to give everybody the source code. And, I'm going to sword art online this sucker. Just give everybody the seed, dude. And make it live. Like, he's gotten screwed over so many times by production companies. It's not even funny, because they're all not greedy, they're in it to make money. You're a dollar sign to them. Pantheon Rise of Fallen is driven, kind of like how Blizzard started, if you guys even know. I don't mean to bring them into this, but it's by gamers for gamers, and they're keeping it in-house, keeping it enclosed. So that is my take on the 20,000 people. I probably went really long here. I'm sorry, but welcome back to Green Chat. And when this comes out, I'm actually going to be banking a few videos. I don't want to say this at the beginning, but I'm going to do it at the end, because if you're here and you're like, oh my god, you're still at the end of this video, rock on, good for you. But yeah, I'm banking videos and going to be releasing this whenever I do. And I really want to get back in the swing of things. There's been reasons why I haven't been making videos. We're trying to move on. I'm trying to move on for that. So guys, if you guys got anything for me, please let me know in the comments below. It's good to feel you looking at my face with me looking at you through your screen at my face. Again, feels good. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and share it with your buddies. Not this video, but some of the content. Share it with your buddies, just to kind of share the Pantheon love. And maybe there's other people out there that like to make videos. And if you have any questions about that, I'm just kidding. I'm not your guy. Super not your guy. But I appreciate you guys watching. And that's it. I'll talk to you again really soon.